Hey, it's Lauren Wellington, the entrepreneur who educates people to realize their business mojo. And in an effort to share with you unique opportunities, I interviewed Tamara Daniels of Supervised Child Visits. I heard about this opportunity about 6 years ago, and it's very unique to every court system here in the United States of America. Each state operates a little bit differently, but the point of this video is to expose you to an opportunity of being a child visitation monitor. In this video, she describes what are supervised child visitation monitors. She also outlines the monetary aspect of the opportunity and the training that is required. I think this is a very unique opportunity for individuals who have flexibility in their schedule, but also want consistency of income, and they are looking for more of a part-time opportunity. So with that said, enjoy the video. So hello, how are you doing
Hey,
today?
I'm fine. Happy New Year's.
Yes,
New
happy New Year.
Year's.
Right, yes, it's been a minute since we've seen each other, literally.
Yes,
And you are looking
yes,
good.
yes, yes.
So today I wanted to just talk to you about supervised child visits. What I've been doing is a series of videos or webinars or workshops around different business opportunities for people, primarily I'm going to say over 50, so or retired demographic. So these are individuals who have a lot of skill set, a lot of experience, and they're looking for maybe something to do in retirement for a lot of reasons. It could be they need extra money, could be that they need a little extra, they want to contribute, but they don't really know what they want to contribute with. They're not
Yeah.
looking for like a job, right?
Otherwise, they wouldn't have retired.
Right, been there, done that. So they're
Yeah.
looking for something else to maybe participate in. And so I'm just trying to expose people to different options that they may have not known before. And I know that when I first met you a few years ago, I had never even heard of supervised visits, and that was actually something that people could do and get paid to do that were not like social workers.
Yes,
So with
this
that
is true.
said, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Okay, it's better for somebody else too. You always feel uncomfortable talking about yourself. But I am self-employed. This will be my 11th year being self-employed. And I got into visitation back in 2009. And I was really, really glad that I got into this field. I was laid off back in the Wall Street housing debacle.
Okay.
And so I found this through a friend of mine who was a school teacher. And incidentally, school teachers always take my class. People in the medical field, people in the probation field, retirees, grandparents, husbands and wives, medical, security, law enforcement. These are the kinds of populations that gravitate to this field. So I became a professional visitation monitor. And then 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago, this year now, I started training as a monitor. There's only a handful of people in the state of California that actually teach the class, maybe 5 or 6 people, maybe only 2 or 3 of us are actually doing it, ongoing. So I've been teaching the class every month since 2011. February 2011. And I find it very rewarding. It's serious work though, but I know you're going to ask me more about that later. I'm also an anger management specialist. I did get certified in that 3 years ago, anger management specialist one. So I'm a member of CAMP, California Anger Management Providers, CAAMP.
Okay.
Don't quiz me right now on the letters, but that's what it is. And so we're on a list that goes out to courts because a lot of times courts order a individual to anger management classes
Okay.
in lieu of going to jail.
Okay.
hmm So that's another field that people can get into,
Okay.
is to become an anger management specialist, and you run your own groups, or you can do private one-on-one, because sometimes corporations send an employee so that they can keep their job to a private one-on-one.
Okay. Okay, so
Mhm.
let's go quickly back to the supervised child visits. What exactly is that? What is the person like myself or the person going through your training when they are, I guess, certified or licensed? What exactly are they doing?
That's a very, very good question. Even the people that take the class, when they register, they want to really know because they don't understand. Supervised visitation is the contact between the non-custodial parent with one or more children in the presence of a monitored, supervised, neutral third person. So think about it this way. You've got a parent and he or she has one or more children. They visit and they have safe contact, but in the presence of a neutral third party. That would be the professional monitor. So we're there to document, observe, and keep the child, ourselves, and the parents safe.
Okay. And what could be the circumstances why a parent or the guardian would need to have supervised visits?
Right. Good
Is it all
question.
is it all criminal?
Number one, I'm sorry?
Is it like criminal or is it
No,
okay?
not at all. Now, we get our cases out of family law court. So the children do live at home with a custodial mom or custodial dad. The
Okay.
other court is children's court, where the children are in foster care. That's social workers. They do that monitoring.
Okay.
We're in family law court. So some of the top reasons would be domestic violence,
Okay.
any type of child abuse, whether it be physical or sexual,
Okay.
could even be emotional. Then there is substance abuse, because there's a lot of addiction today,
Yes.
always has been, but more today. And then mental illness would be another one.
Okay.
But then after that, there's a lot of reasons. Maybe the child requests it. Not likely, but that's one of the reasons. Maybe there's some religious beliefs. If the practices of the family, the judge determines, may put the child in danger,
Mm.
then they may order monitored visits. It also could be that there's just been a long period of separation between parent and child. Maybe the child came into the world, but the mom or the dad never met them, or it's been years since they've seen them. So then that would be ordered visitation. But domestic violence and substance abuse, physical abuse, and mental illness are like the top four.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
And then how long are the visits? Are they like a few hours at a time or hour at a time or like the whole
That's a
day?
popular question. It will all depend. No two judges are alike.
Okay.
So the judge listens to the case and then he or she determines the frequency. That's how often, a week or a month.
Okay.
And then they determine the duration, how long. Now, most visits are a minimum of 2 hours.
Okay.
So all court orders, by the way, we go by a court order. We're not out there just because we had training doing this thing on our own.
Okay.
You have to have a court order, some judicial paperwork. So at least 2 hours, but they can go up to 8 hours. I have a client that's 8 hours
Okay.
on a visit. And then it could be the different frequencies. It could be Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 2 or 3 hours. It could be the first, third, and fifth weekend. It could be alternating Saturdays and Sundays,
Mm.
the second and fourth weekend of the month. It all depends. We don't determine that. We just follow the court order and we're mandated to enforce it.
Okay. And then I'm assuming that the court order, the documentation is what you're supplying back to the judge from your observation of the visit.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Now, primarily what we're doing, we're documenting every visit, right, in our notebook. And we just bring it back with us until such a time that a parent or the court actually orders a written formal report.
Oh,
Other than that, we're keeping our notes.
just keeping notes. Okay. All
You're
right.
keeping your notes, yeah. And
And
there's a whole section in the training on documentation.
okay.
It's a growing, evolving art. It's not easy peasy.
Yes, I can imagine. I can imagine. And so can I do this if am I getting licensed or certified for like LA County or the state, or can I do this in other cities and states? Or is there, I'd imagine that there's different regulations for each state, but is it the same for each cities in one state?
Well, you got a lot of questions packed into that one question. Interestingly enough, this is going to shock a lot of people that might be watching your video clip. Nowhere in the United States of America, Miss Lauren, is this field certified.
Oh, okay.
We are mandated, and we're part of the Uniform Standards of Court for Practice 5.20, and that's codified in the Family Law Code 3200.5. Certainly sounds like we're certified,
Right.
but to be certified, what that means is that there's a governing body up in Sacramento or San Francisco that's paid to regulate, issue licenses, issue examinations, charge fees, revoke licenses, sort of like lawyers are governed, and maybe even barbers and hair technicians and nail technicians. But this field, unfortunately, is not yet certified. So anybody that says they're a certified visitation monitor, it's not really telling the whole truth. You're a professional supervised visitation monitor, and we are mandated to have training. Now, our training is only good for this state. That was one of your other questions.
Yes.
Only the state of California. Every state has their own laws regarding visitation.
Okay. Okay. So I can do it here. I can take your class, and then I can do it anywhere within the state of California.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. And then my next question was, who's the ideal person? I know you kind of listed like teachers and people who may have worked in the medical field, or retirees, or you mentioned a couple other types of individuals, but like maybe the disposition or the character traits. Who's the ideal person for?
Good disposition would be a person that actually cares about the safety of children.
Okay.
The second good disposition would be a person who can keep themselves neutral and not take sides, not given or intimidated or encouraged or enticed to believe one parent over another. So stay neutral.
Okay.
Another characteristic would be someone that is business minded. This is not a gig.
Right.
You're not just sitting back, updating your Facebook page, watching a video, and the parent and the child are out having their visit, right? Even if you can see them, you have to hear them. That's part of the law. We have to hear and see. Another characteristic would be someone that is willing to start their own service. I don't want it to sound like, oh my goodness, I've got to start a business. You are providing a service, and most monitors are independent. We're privately independent. We work for ourselves, not the courts.
Okay.
But in the court order, the parent is directed to find a professional monitor.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the parent is directed to find a professional monitor, and I'm assuming there's some kind of directory or listing that they can go through to find.
There are court lists. Okay. A lot of courts don't have the manpower anymore to govern lists, but there are a few, like Orange County, Riverside Court, San Diego Court. There's some courts up north. But believe it or not, Lauren, because we're in a digital age today, parents just come right out of court and go right to their iPhone, Droid, tablet, laptop, and they start Googling. Visitation monitor in the South Bay, or supervised monitor in Riverside, whatever search terms they choose to use. So they find us.
Okay.
So therefore, we have to have web presence.
Okay. All right.
That's the one thing and the only thing really outside of your business cards that you need to start in this field. It's cheaper than selling Avon, one student told me. I said, really? Doesn't take much. Just put up a web page, and that's covered in the training. We deal with the marketing module on day 2. Okay. So we look at all the web pages that monitors have created. There's a web host designer, I should say, web designer in the book, and she does probably 60% of the students, the attendees.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Web page, but you can do it yourself if you like. But in today's world, you do need a web page to be found.
Okay. And then how long is your training, the training itself? Is it like several weeks? Is it a weekend? Is it a month?
Actually, it's 24 hours.
Oh. Okay.
The law changed in January 2013. Now we are mandated to have at least a minimum of 24 hours. So that's 8 hours a day for my training session. So that's 3 days.
Okay. So it's
8 hours a day. You get breaks and you get a lunch,
Right.
but it is 8 hours. And then that gives you your certificate of completion with the number of hours that you have
Okay.
completed.
All
You
right.
can take the class and never monitor. I've had people do that because they just wanted the information
Hmm.
for whatever personal reasons they may have been dealing with, and they wanted to know maybe what their monitor is supposed to know.
Okay.
But if you take the class and you finish, then your certificate says 24 hours.
Okay.
If you don't finish, it's going to say whatever number of hours you had, but you need 24 to practice in California.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to switch back because you mentioned it earlier, and I want to now kind of take the same conversation and apply it to the anger management. And so that is something that is it court mandated, or is it, well, you kind of alluded possibly it could be court mandated, but also companies can refer their employees.
Yes, ma'am. So you have court mandated classes, and then you just have private classes.
Okay. And I
So
am leading the class, me, the trainer, or the one-on-one session.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I got the training to be the anger management facilitator.
Facilitator.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm leading a class with either a group of people or an individual.
Yes.
Okay.
And usually it's a group of people, to be honest with you. That's ones we get the most calls from. So we have men in one session, and then you might have another session that's only women. You don't put the two sexes together in the same room.
Okay.
And the groups are generally small. It can be a group of 4. You really shouldn't have more than a group of 10. If you can just imagine the content that you're discussing, you don't want too many people.
Right.
And because it's mandated for that particular individual, they do have to come back with a certificate and present it to the judge to show that they've completed it. Usually it's 26 weeks that a judge might order, or 52 weeks. That's either 6 months or 1 year. So it's a commitment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
the classes aren't very expensive because you're coming one time a week for 1 hour. You can only come one time a week for 1 hour.
Okay.
And so you're usually somewhere between the range of $20 to $30 per session.
Okay. So $20, $30 a session. It's seemingly like 6 months for 1 day a week for an hour.
Right. 26 weeks times $20 or 25. I think there's the revenue that is generated as a visitation monitor. We didn't talk about that.
That's true.
It's pretty handsome. I'll put it that way. Yeah, we charge anywhere industry standard between $50 to $85 an hour with a minimum of a 2-hour visit.
Okay.
So if you have a client, like I gave a lead away actually to one of my, well, she was new at the time and she wanted to get started. And so I gave her a lead, and that parent has 12 hours a week, and we're charging him $50. That's $600 a week. That's $2,400 a month. And that's just one client.
One client.
But the frequency is 3 times a week. Tuesday and Thursday for 3 hours. 2:30 to 5:30, and then every Sunday for 6 hours, 12 to 6.
Okay. Yeah.
So you might only want one case as a retiree or somebody that already has a full-time job, because most monitors already work full-time, so they're doing this on the weekends. Most court orders are on weekends because children aren't in school, but there are some that are during the week. Okay.
All right. But if it is during the week, it's probably after school hours.
Depends on the age. I've had them start at 11 in the morning because they're little toddlers.
Okay.
It all depends on the judge. Sometimes they can be 2 years old and still be a weekend client. It just depends.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
That's what's nice, the flexibility. So you get to choose your own clients, set your own hours, and be your own boss.
Right. With the minimum startup. Back to the anger management, is it the same required training, like the 24 hours, or is it a longer training session?
Yeah, The trainer is about 23 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, the certification that I got, it was 23 hours.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily a minimum requirement, but it's good to have at least the 23 hours.
Okay.
What is another industry is becoming a domestic violence counselor. That's 40 hours.
Okay.
So every field has their own minimum eligibility requirements.
Yes.
And training minimum requirements.
Okay. All right. Okay. Are you doing training for anger management or domestic violence, or just supervised child visits?
Supervised child visits and anger management, not DV.
Okay.
Not domestic violence.
All right. So people.
But I do training in life skills for at-risk youth, ages 14 to 24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm a certified facilitator for life skills. Yes.
And then if
redirecting, I'm sorry.
If a person was interested in that, how would they, I come, I do your training, and then is it the same thing going through the court system, or?
Oh, no, that can be anyone in the community that can be an at-risk, or it can be the juvenile justice system itself. Yeah, because I go down to Eastlake Juvenile Hall, but it can be any individual from 14 to 24. And look at that age range. That's considered a youth.
Yes.
The reason why, do you have any idea what the reason is that the youth range goes all the way up to 24?
Well, I know science has recently said that our maturation,
our brains,
is not done until mid-20s. But I also know, like with the school districts, that you age out of like high school by the age of 22 for those who have some challenges, like developmental challenges, or I'm going to leave it at that. A special ed or special needs students, you don't just leave high school at 18. You have up to 20 to do that as well. So I'm assuming the combination of the two.
Right. Yeah, the brain is not finished developing, science says, as you mentioned, until you're about 24, which is kind of interesting and a myth to a lot of people. They have no idea that that's the science. They're out with families and jobs and careers.
Yes.
Well, you're still a youth if you're 24.
Well, no. Okay. Yes. But I digress already before I even say anything. All right. So I'm going to clearly provide your contact information and, your upcoming, not updated schedule for your trainings. But the next step for a person, if I'm interested in any of the three, it would be attending your training first to be able to get the information, making sure my skill set is applicable, doing all of that. And then the next thing after that would be setting up whatever presence I need, like a web presence or business cards, to be able to start securing clients or hosting groups.
Well, yes. Now that's just for the visitation field, not for anger management. I don't do domestic violence. So if you want to start getting involved in becoming a part-time professional visitation monitor, then you do take the 3-day training. Yes, that's just mandated. And my training dates are always listed on the website, supervisedchildvisits.com. For anger management, they can contact me and I will direct them to my trainer. Yeah, I just teach the classes. I don't train you to become a facilitator. And those are 2 income revenue streams that, whether you're retired or still working, that you can take advantage of, and you'll never fire yourself when you work for yourself.
Yes. It sounded like there could be 3 because you said the life skills, and I was like, I know a lot of teachers who would be interested in that, having some kind of way to bring that in, because we are seeing less and less life skills.
I teach that, just I don't teach you to be a facilitator. I teach see, there's a difference there. I can teach you, but not teach you to be the teacher. That's called train the trainer. I don't do that one for life skills. Or anger management.
So, all right. Well, hey, at least there's something there. All right. So are there any kind of final thoughts or something you want to share about supervised child visits, or anything else, regarding what we've covered?
Sure. I would like to share with people that this field, supervised child visits, has been a blessing to so many people. I have so many email testimonials, someone's spouse passed away, and so they had to be responsible for income, and they've got it now that they're a monitor. Some parents have said that their children have gone away to school and they need this supplemental income, and it's helped them. Some individuals have actually trained their entire family. And now they're self-sustaining and they work for themselves. Some people have gone and opened up agencies. This is a niche inside of a niche that most people don't know about. It's rewarding work, but it's also revenue generating work. So if you think that it's something you might be interested in, consider becoming a professional visitation monitor.
Yes. Okay. So I promise that I'm going to list the link to her site and then, provide whatever details I can about the upcoming trainings and things of that nature, and her contact details if you want to know more about the other ones mentioned. But I really hope that this information was very helpful to everybody, because it was something that I heard about when I met her maybe 5 years ago now. It feels like 5 or 6 years ago. And I think
6. Yeah.
Okay. And I was
a little while ago, 6 or 7.
I was like, people do that? And it made sense that people do that. But my assumption, and probably other people's assumption, is that you needed to be a social worker. So to know that you could be an individual, a person with, a certain level of, as you said, being Switzerland, being neutral, but professionalism and care, having care or consideration for children. I mean, hey, that seems like that could be a pretty good starting place. And then you mentioned the $50 to $80 an hour with minimum 2-hour visitations. I mean, that could be something.
You have to have a clean criminal background record, though, Lollipop.
Okay. So
I don't think I mentioned that.
Yeah. Can't be naughty, but okay.
Yeah, can't be naughty.
All right. Well, that helps.
All right.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time today, giving us that little bit of information. And I hope
my pleasure.
You get some new people to come through your class.
My pleasure. Thank you. Have a business healthy week, Miss Wellington.
All right. You too.
All right. Bye now.
All right. Bye-bye. So I hope that you learned a lot in this video about supervised child visitation. It's definitely a unique opportunity, but one that I think that some of you could definitely maximize upon. Her contact information is in the last screen of the video, as well as ways for you to sign up for her next training. She did mention other types of training, and those are available to you as well. But I think the most important thing to take into consideration is just becoming a professional for child visitation and seeing where that opportunity takes you. Until next time, bye. One more thing, if you like this video, click the like button below. If you find this information important and you think that someone else can also benefit from it, feel free to share. If you find that the videos in this channel are very helpful, then please subscribe. Until next time, see you next time.